It's going to be wild and crazy, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. New England sits atop the division, but ESPN's Football Power Index gives Buffalo a 67% edge to win the AFC East. That figure soars up to an 84% chance if the Bills take care of business. But if the Pats win, Bill Belichick and company will have a 64% chance to take the AFC East. Mina, what are you going to be watching for tonight?
All right, so I don't think there's going to be lightning in Buffalo tonight, but there will be thunder because these Patriots running backs, and it is a trio, guys, with Damien Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, and don't leave out Jakob Johnson. He's key to their run game. They are bringing old-school power football back. It's going to be a challenge for a Buffalo run defense that struggled at times.
My boy Danny O told me the Bills were making themselves one-dimensional. Well, they better not do it tonight, or they will get mud stomped. They have to use Josh Allen legs in this run game. They have to allow them to stay on schedule, try to get the third in manageable situations, because we know Belichick is going to throw some looks ain't nobody ever seen. Use your legs tonight, Josh Allen.
I want to watch one of the best man-beating route-running receivers in the NFL, Stephon Diggs, versus one of the best man-covered corners in the NFL, J.C. Jackson. Stephon Diggs last year put 15 for 250 on their heads last year. He's got 67 catches. This year, JC's got 7 picks. I want to watch that matchup tonight.
Ooh, that's a good one. And just about 4 hours away from kickoff, we'll have much more from this game, including key injury updates from Adam Schefter in a bit. Week 13 comes to a close. The calendar has turned over to December. We're finally getting a clearer picture of which teams will really contend. And let's begin with everything about tonight. A field report brought to you by Windows 11 and Intel as we bring in Lisa Salters from Buffalo. Lisa, it's the first Monday night game ever in Buffalo in December, and the conditions will be an issue tonight. It's going to be raining. It's going to be really windy. How will these quarterbacks deal with it? Let's start with Josh Allen.
Yeah, Laura, well, Josh Allen told us he's played in enough bad weather games in college at Wyoming and here for the last 4 years that he knows what to expect. I'm not really sure if he does, though. If the winds are as strong as they are right now, Allen said he's learned how to tweak his throwing motion to help make sure he's throwing a tight spiral. He said that keeps the nose of the football from moving around and getting caught up in the wind. Now, despite the fact that both teams have outscored their opponents by more than 140 points this season, Allen said weather could make this an old-school field position type of game, and he said he knows that he's got to play sound situational football and not make bad decisions that could give the Patriots the ball with a short field. And no matter how bad the weather is tonight, Allen told me he would not be wearing gloves because that, he said, is against his religion as a quarterback. Spoiler alert, Laura, I will be wearing gloves and a hat and many, many, many layers under my coat.
Layer up. Lisa, do not blow away. So it would seem like the conditions would favor a guy who spent time in Wyoming and Buffalo over a rookie from Alabama. What does Mac Jones have to say about his ability to deal with the conditions tonight?
Well, Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels reminded us that it's not like New England is a tropical island. He said Mac Jones has already had a chance to practice in a little bit of everything with the Patriots in the short time that he's been there. Rainstorms, snow, because the Patriots never use their indoor bubble. And McDaniels said the weather gods actually gave them a gift midweek in practice, a 35 mile an hour wind day that seemingly came out of nowhere. McDaniels said it was cold, windy as heck like it is right now, and they all thought, this is great. We get to work in what we're going to play in on Monday. And he said Mac Jones threw the ball very well that day in practice. Now, Jones told us he's not overly concerned about what the conditions will be like tonight. He said he'll just figure it out as the game goes on. And unlike Josh Allen, Jones said he will not alter his throwing mechanics when throwing into strong winds. When you've done something a certain way your entire life, he said, you can't overthink it. So 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different approaches, Laura.
Yeah, and then one fantastic reporter who's holding it all down for us as the wind is swirling around. Lisa Salters, please try to stay upright tonight. We appreciate you. More from this game coming, of course, as we continue to talk about the AFC playoff picture. With the Ravens loss, the Patriots took over as the top seed in the AFC. However, each of the division leaders have identical 8-4 records. With their win, the Steelers find themselves just on the outside looking in. And speaking of those Steelers against the Ravens, what a game. We pick it up later on in the game in the fourth quarter, 16 seconds to go, and they're going to decide to throw it to Sammy Watkins for the touchdown. All right, so you feel good about the position that they're in, but what would they end up doing after that? They make a decision to to go for 2 after Sammy Watkins. You see Harbaugh holding up the 2, and you think, okay, surely to Mark Andrews, it's going to work. But it doesn't, just off the fingertips there for Andrews. We'll talk about that decision in just a moment, a little bit more, and get Mina's take on it. But let's get Adam Schefter back in here for the first time today. Adam, after the game, Coach John Harbaugh said the injuries in his secondary were a factor. That's the first time I've seen you, and you're all bundled up and blowing away. Do you have earmuffs on, Shefty? We need to look back at that one more time. You wearing earmuffs?
You have no idea what it's like here right now. To say it's windy would be an understatement, okay? I'm going to blow away. I am so small, I may blow over this stadium.
I'm just imagining Adam Schefter like Mary Poppins without the umbrella, just like blowing up through the stadium. All right, anyway, back to the Ravens. The injuries in the Ravens secondary were a factor in going for 2. What more can you tell us there?
Well, a short time ago, the Ravens head coach John Harbaugh confirmed that Marlon Humphrey, that Pro Bowl cornerback, tore his pec making a tackle yesterday, and he is the latest Raven to suffer a season-ending injury. You take a look at all the players the Ravens have lost this year. Marlon Humphrey becomes the latest one, and it's one of the reasons that John Harbaugh decided to go for the 2-point conversion, because he felt like his team was beaten and battered at the defensive back position, including the loss of Marlon Humphrey, who now is out for the year, Laura.
Yeah, Adam Schefter is going to grit it out for the rest of the show. More from him, and he and Lisa Salters are the real MVPs of this show, as we can tell. Mina, real quick, going for 2, was that the right play at the end of the game yesterday?
Absolutely. People forget, overtime is just a chance to win. John Harbaugh decided he liked their chance there better, and I get why. As he said, they were banged up. In the fourth quarter, the Steelers were averaging 7.4 yards per play on that Ravens defense, and they had a great play. It was just the execution and play of TJ Watt that let them down. But Harbaugh's decision-making, I totally agree with.
So what went wrong for Lamar yesterday?
You know, for me, what was so frustrating watching Lamar was what went wrong with something that's been going wrong for him for a while, which is these ongoing struggles against the blitz. Since week 7, he has been the worst quarterback in the NFL against the blitz. And in this particular game, what was irksome to me was it was mostly zone blitz. It's Pittsburgh, but it also mostly came on early downs. They blitzed on 40% of the time on first down. What that means is, Lamar, you've got options. And going back and watching some of his sacks, 6 of them actually came on early downs. He had an outlet. Like, he was just determined to make the big play, but when it's first or second down, you can take 5 yards, keep it alive, and he just wasn't doing that.
Lamar ain't been good. Let's just get that out there. He has not been good, but he is also the reason why the Ravens are 8-4 as well. So it's double-edged. When you look at the mistakes that he's making, these interceptions, it's not about turning the ball over in some of these instances. It's costing you points. They lost this game by 1 point. I think we all assumed Justin Tucker would have made the field goal without that interception in this game. And then another opportunity, Devontae Freeman, this third down, you get this, you set yourself up to get in the end zone as well, and it's an off read. So when you look at Lamar, the last drive, right? This is the mind tricks that get you. The last drive, they need a touchdown. He walks the ball down the field, right? You got the right play call with Greg Roman. I think TJ Watt had more to do with that play not working out than it was an actual miss. But ultimately, Lamar has to realize, to your point, Mina, I have to not put my team in these situations, especially when you're dealing with a defense that's been hampered so much by injury.
Yeah, my pushback on that would be, though, he has to play hero ball. Like, you don't ever want your quarterback to play hero ball, but he has to play hero ball for them to have wins because
I got you.
My issue with really for the last 6 weeks is they have no plan for zero pressure. We saw it early on against Cincinnati, then Miami started to do it, and now teams are doing it every week. And Marcus, you talked about this play, 6 guys up at the line of scrimmage, you motion the back out, Devin Bush follows, you only got 5 guys in protection. Now TJ Watt becomes unblocked. Where's your answer? Like, what is the plan? Hey, coach, when we're getting zero to have something to do with the football, he fades away, becomes an interception. And that takes those 3 points off the board. And when you're dealing with the pressure, to your point, Mina, number one job, how do we make sure it doesn't hurt us?
Yeah.
They haven't gotten to that step, let alone the second thing is, how can we hurt it? And then the second part, and it attaches a little bit to the sacks as well. I think it's one of the, if not the most sloppy pass game in the NFL right now. There's no definition.
Concept-wise.
There's no definition to the routes. There's no rhythm. There's no structure. And that's why I think he holds the ball a little bit, because he's taken for stuff to be like the clarity of the picture never presents itself.
All right, for the Steelers fans out there, we'll get to them a little bit later on in the week, don't you worry. And we're just getting started today on NFL Live. The Chargers fought off Joe Burrow and the Bengals' comeback attempt. We'll tell you what this win could mean for the AFC playoff picture. Another important game in the AFC happening tonight on Monday Night Football. Plus, what an aerial attack.
A lingering neck issue, and as long as he's not out there, and he didn't play yesterday, there are questions about whether he'll be able to play on Sunday against the Rams. Mike Lennon, the man that succeeded Daniel Jones yesterday, suffered a concussion. It's going to be tough for him to play this week, which could leave Jake Fromm, who was signed off Buffalo's practice squad on Tuesday as the Giants starting quarterback on Sunday against the Rams. But that's the position they find themselves in as they wait to see if and when Daniel Jones will be cleared to return to action. Same with Mike Lennon off that concussion.
Let's rip through some other names injured in yesterday's game. Start in Washington, where it sounds like the news was better than they first anticipated.
ACL and MCL, but as it turned out, the test today did not reveal an ACL tear. They're still putting him through a battery of tests to determine the exact damage that Logan Thomas suffered on his knee, but it looks like right now the worst has been averted. As for Joey Bosa, the Chargers' outstanding defensive end, he didn't return to the
All right, I'm going to jump in here because we seem to be losing Adam's mic. As you can tell, the conditions there at Monday Night Football are not desirable, with wind blowing and apparently cutting his mic. He was going to tell you about the rest about Bosa, but his report on Joe Burrow was about that thumb. That thing swole up really big, or the pinky, excuse me. Yeah, you know, one side of the hand either way. So we'll get more from Adam in just a little bit, but either way, the conditions tonight on Monday night are going to be wild and crazy as the Patriots and Bills face off. On the winning side of that game, the Chargers showed the fighting spirit on Sunday. After leading by 24 points early, LA found themselves in a 2-point game in the fourth quarter, and that's when Tavon Campbell scooped up the loose ball, took it in for the touchdown. The Chargers would go on to win it 41-22, and the first time that you saw Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow face off. And Dan, the final score was really not indicative of how close this game was. What was the turning point for you?
Well, really the Jamar Chase go route at the end of the first quarter that he wins, and if he catches it, it's a touchdown. This throw right here from Joe is perfect, and we've seen that go route connection a bunch. That's a turn of potentially 14 points, at least 7, and then 2nd and 2, they're driving and Joe Mixon fumbles the football. Again, at least 3 points are taken off the board, probably a swing of 10 points because it's returned for a touchdown. So I know it's a 19-point victory, and it seems like a blow. This was a 1-point game, or excuse me, a 2-point game with 1 minute to go in the third quarter on that Joe Mixon fumble after falling down 24-0. So I think the Bengals, if you sit back and you go, if we don't beat ourselves, it's a much different game.
First, I'm going to acknowledge you for how smooth you got out of that Schefter hit. That's number one. Number two is this, okay?
My pinky is swollen too now.
You've heard us on this show all season long talk about the run game and the effects of it, play action, what it does to defenses. It helps you dictate and know the looks that you're going to get. And the Chargers did a phenomenal job on the touchdown pass to Keenan Allen. When you look at Justin Herbert here and look at Bates, the safety in the back end, and this action in the backfield, because they have handed this off. You got a zone read and a jet sweep motion that's getting this safety to commit to the box. Keenan Allen goes right behind for a touchdown. Listen, for a lot of people, this is football 101, right? If you watch football, you talk about play action, what it does and affects the secondary. But more importantly, you pointed out, credit, Lombardi was a little stagnant in his play calling, in concepts, and people normalized themselves with it and understood what the Los Angeles Chargers was doing. That was an example of using the game throughout to set up something that you knew you wanted to play later, and it worked out perfectly.
I would also say it's important for us to point out that we've been begging for them to be aggressive and push the ball downfield and take some shots downfield, and they did that I feel like they did that more yesterday than hadn't let pass
50-50 balls,
His
man.
average depth target was over 10 yards. I mean, it was insane.
And it's been like 6, right?
Yes,
Something like that?
This dude has a cannon attached to his arm.
Much better yesterday.
We literally, all last week, we're talking about, are they holding him back?
Yeah.
And we saw a totally different story yesterday. But the Chargers defense, Mina, forced 4 turnovers. What did you see from that unit?
I thought it was the best performance from the front 7 all season long. On Friday, Marcus was there, Dan, you were not. I said that Joe Mixon, who was coming off some pretty hot performances himself, was going to feast on this Chargers defensive line. Well, I hope he ate lunch before the game. There was no feasting to be had. Just tremendous, and it was really, honestly, across the board. It wasn't any one player in particular on run defense. For them to lose Joey Bosa in the first quarter, who has been not only their best edge rusher, obviously, but they've really been dependent on him in the early part of the season to generate a pass rush. And then to continue to get pressure, I thought it was a testament to the players, but also the coaching from Brandon Staley, who's, of course, a defensive coach, just finding ways, creative ways, really, to manufacture pressure throughout the game, different sorts of blitzes, twists and stunts. You had linebackers blitzing, you had safeties meeting at the quarterback. Really a well-coached game and honestly an impressive performance from that defense.
Yeah, I thought the edge guys for the Chargers.
Wosu was amazing.
They beat up Cincinnati's tight ends after we raved about their run game. I still think that Burrow outplayed Herbert, and I thought Herbert played really good. I thought Joe made more impressive throws and less misses.
I think when Zach Taylor goes back, he'll kick himself for not using that outside zone like he did last week. And I get it. Like,
we're building more offense.
They stifled it a little bit, setting edges, but ultimately all you're looking for is 2 or 3 cracks in the armor. So you got to keep searching for that throughout the game. I want to shout out my boy. I want to shout out my boy Braden Fajoko from LSU. Got some run, and he was big and he was big and physical in the center of that.
What a good dude. We loved him in college. I think that the Chargers just have Mina Kimes to thank for all that bulletin board material. I'm sure they were talking about that. That was delicious or yummy rat poison, as Nick Saban likes to say.
Welcome.
All right, coming up next on NFL Live, it used to be all about Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs offense giving people fits, but that thing has switched. It's all about the defense now. We'll discuss why this offense has not found its swag yet. Fighting Spirit Moment is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Wait,
let's go Lions!
Going winless this season. Listen to this.
First victory of the year on the line. Goff's got it. Back, looks, throws, and caught! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end! Oh, they're rushing the field! They've done it! 3-0 on the clock! This game is over! It's over!
Oh, I love it. All right, so Mina and I actually got emotional about this. It really was such a special moment. What do you think, Dan, being a former Lion?
Former Lion that went 0-16, or
you wanted maybe to have another quarterback who also went winless, or
my kids went nuts when we were watching it. I don't think there's a coach in the NFL that I'm rooting for harder to win than Dan Campbell, man. It was awesome to see.
His team, too. I mean, after the game, giving him the game ball and how much they want to win for him.
It was phenomenal.
Special to see.
It was phenomenal. And listen, you don't think these wins mean stuff, man. They have so many more implications.
They try so hard, right? And week after week, they played so hard and so hard.
They're still in the mix for Thibodeau at number 1, so it's a win all around.
What's wrong with you, man?
Everything's about the draft. To another standout from Sunday, the Chiefs' defense. They forced 3 turnovers against the Broncos and got the win. And luckily for the KC offense, defense has been picking them up. It was the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career that he's gone consecutive games without a touchdown pass. So after starting 3-4, struggling on the defensive side, the Chiefs have turned it around behind a strong defensive effort, holding opponents to just over 11 points per game since Week 8. That's the second fewest in the NFL. And KC has also been better at protecting the football after having 17 turnovers the first 7 games. Patrick Mahomes responsible for a lot of those. The 5-game winning streak has come despite Patrick Mahomes looking somewhat mortal in a 48 QBR during that run. So, Dan, the Chiefs are on a 5-game win streak, but that offense hasn't been lighting it up by any stretch of the imagination. They have point totals of 20, 13, 19, and 22 in those 4 wins. Why haven't they been able to get that unit back to what we've been used to seeing over the past couple seasons?
Drops and misses. That's kind of been the story of this team, and they're not good enough like they have been in the past to overcome those things. Last night, 5 more drops. This is a beautiful seam route to Pringle. Now, I love the fact that he came back from next play and he caught it. This is a drop by Kelsey. Uncharacteristic. This is the biggest drop of the game because it just looks to me Tyreek Hill's lack of confidence. And then a play or two later, you're going to see the triple pump by Patrick Mahomes. Ball goes off his hands on a decent drive and it becomes an interception. There were 5 more drops last night and 5 more missed throws by Patrick. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, those are 10 plays that are wastes. You're only getting 60 to 65 snaps with the way that your offense is playing right now. So 15% of your plays are dead because of those drops and misses. And I just think, and I asked this to the group before, when was the last time that we watched this offense hit a big play the way the big play was designed to be hit? You know, outside of, someone scrambling around and jump ball. When was the last time
How would you answer that question? How long
I honestly don't know. I don't know the last time that I saw this team hit one of those big chunk 25-plus yard plays down the field in the structure of the way the play was designed to be. And they're not good enough to overcome some of their offensive deficiencies still. And I just think it's who they are.
Well, when you get pushing forward, man, this offense has to get better. But I'm going to give this defense some love, bro, because ultimately we came in a few weeks ago, and I was like, bro, it's hard to play defense when your offense is giving the team 2 to 3 more possessions a game. It's just difficult because they get a beat on you and you can do things. So the fact that they are now limiting the number of plays that the defense is being exposed, Spags can pressure. You can dictate. And y'all hear me say that all the time from a defensive standpoint. When you get into a mode where you can dictate what you want to the offense, you become a better defense immediately. The numbers show that, but also this rush. They're getting more pressure, meaning you alluded to it earlier this year. Frank Clark wasn't showing up. Contract wasn't showing up. They went out and got Ingram. He's been a godsend for them. Opposite. Chris Jones bumping down to the 3 technique and starting to pressure from the center of the pocket. Those are things that we've seen during this whole winning streak. Not just this particular game. Dallas, they pressure. Turnovers, things like that. So I'm going to give this defense love. The offense is still struggling, but if they can limit turnovers, they have enough playmakers up front on this defense to play effectively.
I'll give them more love, too. Obviously, this offense is significantly worse than the Super Bowl offense, but the defense is better.
Absolutely.
That year,
then the Super Bowl defense?
The Super Bowl defense. It often felt to me like that Super Bowl defense was very turnover dependent. Okay, we're going to be really opportunistic and make some plays, but other teams know they can run the ball on you and drive the length of the field. I don't feel that way watching this Chiefs defense. They are not dependent on turnovers. They know that they're the strength of the team right now. And to Marcus's point, a lot of it starts up front with pressure, a combination of a standard rush, which has been vastly improved since Melvin Ingram arrived, and then also some opportunistic blitzes. But the coverage has been what really has impressed me. I mean, last night, when Teddy Bridgewater held the ball for 4 seconds or more, so when he extended plays, he went 2 for 6 for 8 yards. The corners have really held up back there, and that was without Rashad Fenton. I think they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for the improved play as the season has gone along, which, of course, is a hallmark of Steve Spagnuolo defenses.
That was how Week 13 finished up on Sunday night, but the whole thing wraps up tonight in the game we've all been waiting for, the game of the week. Mac Jones leads the Patriots into Buffalo for a matchup with Josh Allen and the Bills. 8 Eastern on ESPN. ESPN Deportes is in the ESPN app. ESPN2 has Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern. It's all right here on ESPN. You do not want to miss it. Let's check in at the Domino's pregame headquarters. Adam Schefter with us, and both teams with some questions in the secondary heading into tonight's game. Let's start with the Patriots. What can you tell us?
Well, Laura, it's not expected that Kyle Duggar, the safety, is going to be activated off the reserve COVID list, which means the Patriots then would promote Sean Davis off their practice squad, and Kyle Duggar would be a big asset to have against a tight end like Dawson Knox, the big Buffalo tight end who's a red zone target, but it doesn't look like the Patriots will have Duggar tonight. He must be activated off the COVID list. He hasn't been, so it's not expected that he's going to wind up playing tonight. And as for the Buffalo Bills, they'll play their first game tonight since Tre'Davious White, their Pro Bowl cornerback, tore his ACL last week on Thanksgiving at New Orleans against the Saints on this play, hobbled off the field, and now the Buffalo secondary will be hobbled without Tre'Davious White. Such a good player, such a big loss for that defense, and tonight they begin to make the adjustments of life without him, although I don't think that the passing game is going to be much of a factor here with the way that the winds are gusting here through Buffalo, but we'll see if the wind dies down by the time the game starts. It's coming fierce and strong right now.
Yeah, Adam, I noticed that maybe some snowflakes were falling on you, so I did a quick weather check, and it's telling me snow starting in 8 minutes. I'm here to tell you the snow's already started, right, Adam? Is that what I see? Do I see that right?
Laura, I have 2 sources that can confirm that the snow has started. My left eye, my right eye, and my entire body knows that the snow has indeed started falling in Buffalo. It's not a wintry mix right now, but there's a lot of wind right now going on. A lot.
Hey, go get yourself some hot chocolate or coffee or whatever drink of choice you may want. Adam, we'll see you on Monday Night Countdown at 6 right here on ESPN. And thanks for toughing it out with us here on NFL Live. Each week on NFL Live, we help the NFL spotlight the high school coach of the week. But this week, the Buffalo Bills want to honor them all. Throughout the 2021 high school football season, the Buffalo Bills and AdPro Sports have recognized 22 head coaches in total from the Buffalo and Rochester regions and presented them with an award and a $1,000 grant for their respective programs. All right, let them know what we got coming up next, Swag.
Yeah, everybody want to be vegan until wintertime. That's why the big fellas are always in season, baby. It's big man season, and I'm bringing it to you. My man, Vita Vea, he was dancing on Matt Ryan, riding a pony, telling everybody I'm coming through the center of the line of scrimmage. It's big boy season, and I'm going to show y'all later why it is.
That's funny because you ate an Impossible Burger for lunch, which I do know.
I'm more hyped today. We got a B&B, a special edition.
The best segment on television.
Go ahead and get this thing popping. Let me introduce y'all to the big fellas that made plays on Sunday. Best of luck to you. Black, chop the hand down, throw it. Look at him. Can't be that. Marcus Spears Jr. with the Rip Club. Go get the quarterback. Mac Jones, welcome to the NFL. You need better security, big dog. Big men people. First of all, let me put this disclaimer out here. DBs, we don't need you. Stay the hell out of the way. You ain't no big men. We are picking passes off in every damn clip of B&B this week. Let's get it started with my man, Zach Allen from the Arizona Cardinals. He told Andy Dalton, I got to get you. Look at the twist. Look at the read. Understanding that the screen is coming, and he caught it with one hand. I keep telling y'all, we the best damn athletes in the world. Y'all gonna believe it. By clip, I'm gonna make you believe that the B&Bs are the best athletes in the world. Zach, I see you, big dog. One hand. Watch him switch it over to the sideline. Beautiful. Carlos Watkins, I had to get y'all here. Everybody said it was Thursday. It was too long ago. It's the Cowboys. Carlos, way to do it, man. Pick that rock off. Get it in that left hand closer to the sideline. I wanted him to stiff arm Taysom Hill. Y'all, I ain't gonna even lie. I wanted him to stiff arm him to the ground. But Taysom didn't give the type of effort that I thought he would give. So my man C. Loach just walked it in. Look at Dan Quinn. He wish he was a B&B. Dan, you miss it by like 30 pounds, big dog. Last but not least, when you pick off the GOAT, you must be on B&B, and my man Marlon Davidson from Auburn University read this thing like a book. Read it like it was the ABCs, caught the ball, went into the end zone, and told the rest of the team, let's go in at halftime. We may have a chance. Now, they didn't, but it was a great play, big fella. That's B&B for the week. DBs, who need you? Jalen, we don't need you. Xavier, we don't need you. Whoever else, whichever one else out there that's catching interceptions, leave it up to us. We will get in the end zone. We will create takeaways, and we won't do it normally. We'll catch it with one hand. We'll step on me. Water, hydrate.
Gotta hydrate.
Can you cover, Marcus?
Yeah.
Can you cover?
This is the difference between us and DBs. They get pick sixes. They don't need water. We need water and oxygen after we ball.
And maybe a towel. By the way, that pick six was a rare misstep for Tom Brady.
Come on now.
Quarterback who finished the game with
three
touchdowns
picks by the big fellas.
Don't look now, guys. 13 weeks in, and Brady very well could win the MVP again. Either way, Brady 10-0 against Falcons in his career, including that one very painful Super Bowl loss for Falcons fans. Sorry about that. Atlanta opted not to mix in two high safety looks at Tom Brady, and that was a mistake. Brady saw two high safety shells pre-snap on a season-low 11 dropbacks, and when facing 0 or 1 high safety, Brady torched the Falcons with 4 touchdown passes, a whopping 93 QBR. Comparatively, Brady had a 31 QBR on those 11 dropbacks where the Falcons played a too-high shell, with a pick six also coming on one of those plays. So let's get some quick reads on this Bucs offense. Dan, how do the Bucs use Gronk to affect defenses?
Yeah, a little old school information-wise. Sometimes they flicked him up by himself. saw man coverage. You got route runners running away. Sometimes they brought him outside in motion. Bunch realized it's zone. Fournette can get out quickly because he knows what the coverage is. Check down and then down in the red zone again by himself. One-on-one. Let's give him that fade with all that space. Reminds me of 10 years ago with the New England Patriots. Nice job using Gronk for a bunch of information.
Gronk, for information, a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin had 15 catches, franchise record. It felt like 20, honestly. And this is what I love about the Bucs and why they're so scary. They have a different answer for every question. And if your run game's not working, screens to Godwin all day long. Although, to be honest, he hit every route that's possible, including some possibly made up. He does a lot of the dirty work over the middle of the field. Just such a complete wide receiver.
Hey, I mentioned Brady for MVPs, the odds-on favorite right now. Anybody disagree?
It's Brady Rodgers right now.
Yeah.
I still think Jonathan Taylor's in that conversation.
He should be. I like
16
it.
touchdowns.
Give it to a running back. Don't just favor all these quarterbacks all the time.
The reason in the playoff
All right.
race. Because
Still ahead on NFL Live. Could control of the AFC East come down to the team willing to run the damn ball?
You know they ain't